guys, how are ya? It's time for Games, Gains, and Coffee. We're going to be talking about Destiny 2 today. Well, more than anything, my problem with Destiny 2. So I'm sure you guys have been playing it for a little bit now and realizing that there really isn't much to it. And that kind of goes back to me for Destiny 1. When Destiny 1 first launched, I was there. I was so pumped for it. I mean, I had been watching all the trailers, got really excited, bought it at midnight, and then realized about 3 days into it, the game sucked. I mean, there was no content. There was nothing to actually play. So ever since then, I've actually made it my goal to never buy a game digital again because I couldn't return it. I couldn't go take it back to GameStop and at least get 40 bucks out of it. I was stuck with that game after 3 days. So I said, never again. So Destiny 2 rolls around, and my buddy, he's pumped for it. He's all jacked for it. He's like, dude, you gotta get it. You gotta get it. We gotta get Destiny 2. I was like, okay, I'll do it. I made sure I got it physical this time. That way, in case it sucked after 3 days, I could still return it. Problem is, Destiny 2 kind of masked it better, where, as you could tell, first 2 weeks, everyone was still jacked on the game. Everyone was so pumped and hyped, and it was pretty good. Like, there was some improvements made, but then we started to realize, like, the makeup started coming off, and realized how crappy we got played again. I think it was a Reddit user who commented, "It's a mile wide, but an inch deep." And it's just pure content. They don't have enough content. They made a game and they didn't make any depth to it. And they could have easily made it, you know, a deep game. And this is what I'm saying. Diablo. If you guys ever played it, you know there's like multiple difficulties, and as you keep going up in difficulties, enemies change, they get new abilities, and you get different loot. They should have implemented the same system in Destiny 2. You could have been playing normal, where you still get to patrol the missions, you go through level 1 through 20, and you would have been able to beat the game, and then once you're done with that, you should have been able to go to a harder difficulty and level from 21 to 40. And then during this whole new experience, enemies should change, they should get new abilities, it should be harder for everyone, and not only that, but new, different loot, not just reskins. And they could have done that again from 41 to 60 and made like a very hard mode, a prestige mode. And guess what? That would have made it where people who said, you know, after 2 weeks of them like raving about the game but realizing there's no end game, they should have expanded it to get to the end game. And that's where the problem lies. They could have easily made it where players could have sunk in so many more hours, and not necessarily like a grind just for grind's sake, but a grind where you feel like you're getting better because enemies are getting harder and you're getting different loot. Here's the problem. There's not that much loot to begin with. They're reskinning stuff, they're rehashing stuff from Destiny 1, and I'm not sure if they just spent all their time making items for Eververse or what the problem is, but just the sheer amount of content is really, really small. And they should have just spent a ton more time building more items, building more armor, building, you know, different types of cosmetics that you can actually earn in game, not just buy through Eververse. Essentially, just because they didn't make enough content, you were realizing that there's not much depth, and that's why you were playing the same stuff over and over, instead of realizing that they could have just expanded the game itself and made it longer. Not longer just for filler's sake, but well, something to achieve. I mean, let's go back to the good old days where Bungie made Halo. We'd play normal, we'd play heroic, and then we'd play legendary. I would play the game 3 times over, and each time it got harder, each time I would feel more accomplished, and it was so much fun to get to the next difficulty level. And they could have implemented the same thing, just like Diablo does in every game, where there's different levels, tiers, and there should just have been more loot, just in general. Just more loot, more content, more stuff to drive towards. And I think just with that difficulty in itself, people would have been not getting to the end game so fast. So, just long story short, my problem with Destiny 2 is that it's just an inch deep, mile wide. I'm not sure where they're spending their time. I think they're spending it all on Eververse, or maybe the DLC that doesn't really do anything, you know, where you just get to see Osiris and he says pieces out. Oh, spoiler. I almost wonder if they throttled it on purpose so that way people would want to buy the DLC. Anyways, let me know your comments, or let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.